So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing. Now this is my post-fight review for the fight which took place earlier today versus the Naoya Inoue versus Stephen Fulton fight which took place in Japan. It was late night in Japan and early hours here in the UK, and I've literally just watched this fight back as I was working earlier today, so I couldn't really watch it live. So thanks to YouTube, I was able to watch the full fight in replay. But this was, for me, the first time watching both of these fighters in the ring. I don't normally cover or watch really the lighter weight guys. Really, it just sometimes doesn't really interest me. But the build up to this fight kind of captured my imagination, and I was quite intrigued to kind of see how this fight would play out. And after this performance from Inoue, from my point of view, he's developed a new fan because it was a tremendous performance from Inoue. He dismantled Fulton from the get-go. It was a brilliant performance. His jab was quick, his athleticism, his power, his combination punching, and the most of all really, because he was jumping up a weight, he kind of answered a few questions for most boxing fans, and that's, can he take can he take the punches at the bigger weight? And the answer is yes. He took a couple of punches in round 5 and round 6, but nothing really which kind of phased him. And that was probably Fulton's best, best rounds really. Didn't really do much up until that point. As I said, from round 1, in my eyes, Inoue was just winning every single round, and he just looked brilliant doing it as well. And I think one of the key things was the jab. Stephen Fulton had the bigger reach, so realistically, he should have been able to kept Inoue off, but it just wasn't the case. And I think it was the athleticism of Inoue jumping in and out of range with speed, agility, and power, which was hurting Fulton. He just didn't know how to handle it, and he got caught on multiple occasions. And as the fight went on, just looked as if he potentially could have been stopped a lot earlier. But he showed a bit of grit, and he done well. But the fight, as I said, from round 1, looked as if it was only going one way. And as I said, it was my first time watching Inoue, and I'm very impressed. And I'd like to see him now with some of the better boxers around that weight. Already he's had people calling him out for potential unifications. There's another guy in that division, 122 pounds, Tapalis, I think I butchered his name, but he has two of the 4 belts as well. So that could be a straight off fight for a unification. Just to see who is the best, undisputed, for the 122 pound super bantamweight titles. And then potentially, if he can get that fight next, he could potentially move up to the next weight category, which would be the super featherweight division. Now, I have watched a few fights in this division. I've covered Lee Wood a few times. I've saw him fight, even Josh Warrington. So, a bit more familiar with the guys in this weight category. So there's some good potential matchups there for Inoue if he's able to potentially, capture all the belts in that division. But it's going to be tough because he's already been moving up the weights. I think he's a 4-time or four different weight world champion at the moment. So he has kept moving up. So it just depends on how far he can keep moving up in the weight classes, because when you were watching the fight live between Fulton and him, Inoue, Fulton did look the bigger fighter in the ring. But that didn't really make much difference, because we've seen this in the past with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, as he moved up the weights, he was always the smaller guy, but the quicker the puncher and the more devastating puncher at times. And he was stopping, some big guys, in his career, like Margarita. I butchered his name. Obviously Cotto and De La Hoya, people like that. So it can be done. It just depends really. Can Inoue do a similar sort of thing? As I said, if he could try and capture the other 2 titles in the 122 pound division, sorry, 222 pound division. Let's see what he could do maybe in the division above. But again, I'm certainly going to watch his next fight because this fight really intrigued me, and you know what I mean. It was a brilliant performance, and he does go down now in my estimation as one of the best. And there's the big difference really because I did watch a Sonny Edwards recently. He fights in one of the lighter weights below anyway, and I was impressed because Edwards has got skill, but I feel as if he lacks power and he's a bit too cocky at that weight. Whereas as he potentially fights against the better opposition, time will tell to see how he kind of handles that. But I don't want to venture too much off course in this video. As I said, just a quick update just to let you guys know that Inoue, you know what I mean, beat Stephen Fulton in 8 rounds, and it was a devastating performance. And I hopefully look to see his next fight when he's back out. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe. Bless.